Hey guys, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, welcome to another chapter working on this guy right here. That's our P-40E Warhawk, a 1/32nd scale model kit by Hasegawa. So if we can get that intro going, we'll get started, please. Yeah, load the intro, please. Please, thank you. Okay guys, well we're back. We're back and we're going to continue on. We've done a whole bunch of little detail painting in our cockpit. As you can see, we've got some stuff laid out here. We're basically ready to get our pieces assembled today. I know this camera doesn't really do it justice on what it actually looks like, so I went ahead and I took a couple of pictures of the parts laid out here. I will post them up like here. And so you get a good look at what the detail looks like on these. I want to get them assembled today, so that's what we're going to focus on, is getting our cockpit put together and getting our two fuselage halves put together, hopefully. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to skip ahead. When I first got this model kit, or I was looking at researching which company out there makes kind of the best P-40 kit, I was doing some research and I did actually watch somebody build this one, and based on the fuselage, what the instructions would have you do when it comes to the fuselage is put their two halves together, and of course we don't have a complete thing. As you can see here, there's our fuselage, but we've got no tail. There's no tail on it. So what the instructions tell you to do is put our two halves together here like this, and then later on, I think it's the next page, we're going to put our two tail fins together and then do that and then put it in. But what I saw other guys doing was actually putting the tail onto the fuselage first, letting that set, fill in your panel lines, your gaps, and then just putting the two together as an assembly. So knowing that, I've already put this one together. So this guy has his tail already on him. So basically what I did is I just lined it up as tight as I could right here, because there's a big line. You can see it on the camera. There's a big line going all the way through that. These panels are not supposed to have a division right there. So that's a gap that needs to be filled in, sanded, smooth, all that kind of stuff, to give the illusion of these panels being one piece. Now, I did try and get them lined up as close as I could, to even just with my fingernail. I've got a little bit of a lip, feeling that as I pushed it out. But not here, a little bit here, but as we get down, this is pretty good. But I'm going to have to fill that in, and I'll have to sand it down. That's going to be a little bit of work. So the first thing I want to do before we put our two halves together is get our tail onto this one. So let's get this off the sprue here. I'll worry about cleaning up the nubs on this later on, but right now not so much. We got our tail fin right here, or sort of tail fin. Okay, there's that. This is off of our F tree, which leaves just this little guy here, which is our D. So I'm going to do this. Let's do that, because now that's the end of this one. So I will quickly, you know how to do it later. Do it later. Okay, so let me change the camera. You can see a little bit better what I'm doing here. Okay, so this guy lines up just like that. Just like that. Done. Right? All it does is just fit right in there. Not really much to say about it. Just fits in there. Done. Okay? So I'm going to get both my regular glue and my thin set. So I want to get this set so that when it's time to put our fuselage halves together, the tail's already in there nice and set. So put some glue on there. And since I don't know exactly where those line up on here, just kind of slather some glue on here. Get a good bond. Okay. Put that together. Now I've got the same thing. This is sitting out just a little bit, so I want to try and get it so it sits flush, but at the same time it's tight. Flush but tight, if that makes sense. It's easy to move it around in such a way that it's not very tight. I don't know if it would be a cure. I don't know how well it actually sits together if you do it all like the instructions say. I'm only doing it this way because I saw a professional modeler do it online. And so that's why I'm doing it. I'm going by their example. I don't remember which modeler it was that I watched. It's been so long. I should probably revisit that. At the same time I'm letting it set up a little bit, I'm also kind of moving it just a hair to try and make sure it's flush and it's nice and flat along this edge. And that feels pretty good. Okay, that's good. I think it's in a spot that I like, so I'll just add a little extra glue on the inside here. Just to make sure that stays nice and solid. And now I can let this sit for a while we work on the other stuff. Okay, so back to our cockpit. I have my panels all ready to go. Obviously I got the seat installed. We did that last time, right? And did a lot of weathering on there, and so that's what my seat's looking like. And got my pedals in there behind my gauges. I got the little clear viewfinder, was a targeting thing, and then I've got this wall. Okay, so I've actually got these backwards. This wall has to go on this side. The angled part is going to go in right there, like this, just right into the back, our back wall like that, and then get lined up along the floor. So, if you don't have your wall lined up perfect, it's not going to line up perfect there. And that's kind of the situation I have, at least with this one. You see, if I get it lined up perfect on the wall, the rear wall, it doesn't line up perfect on the floor. And if I get it lined up perfect on the floor, then it doesn't line up on the wall. So either way, I don't have it perfect here. Now I could kind of force it. This is glued pretty good now because it's been 3 or 4 days. But I could kind of work it in there and glue it to the floor first so that lines up like this, and then kind of bring this in forward with a little bit of pressure and get that to match. Right? I could get some tape and pull this. We'll see. Let's do a test on the other side. How bad is the other side? Line up on the wall. Same deal. Same deal. It doesn't line up. See that? So it's not a deal breaker, but I should what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on getting it glued to the floor, get our instrument cluster in there. The instrument cluster goes into this little slot here and the same slot on this side, okay? And that's this little tab, this tab here and here, okay? They go in right in there, like so. And that's, oops, and that's how we're gonna have it lined up, like that, okay? So what I'll do is I'll do it on the floor first, and I'll get the instrument panel going in there. I'll put the other panel on this side, but I'm gonna line it up on the floor first. And I'll worry about our rear wall being lined up. We'll do that later. That's I might even have to break it because that's a good bond I got in there. And this does not want to move. Because it is kind of anchored here and here also. It's all lined up perfect. But the fact that it's lined up has pushed it back a little far. And it needs to go forward just that little bit. Which I'm tempted to actually try and break it loose. Just to get it to be proper. Just in that bending I did, I got it almost right. But not quite. We're very, very close. But I think I got it close enough. So I'm going to glue this one in. Just like this. We glue along there. I'm not going to glue it to the rear wall yet. I'm focusing on the floor. Okay. So I'll just put this down like that. Okay. Then we'll put some glue on the tab here. Flip this over, lay him down, just like that. Okay, now I need something for him to sit on. Give me something for you to sit on. No? How about this? There we go. Okay, good enough for now. I need to put some glue on this tab. And get this one lined up. This is going to be the tricky part. If I don't have it lined up. I may have fluked out and got it lined up perfect. I did not fluke out. There we go. We're lined up now. Okay. So again, focusing on the alignment of the floor. That's all in there. There we go. Okay. Now that actually lines up perfect on the wall. So that bending I did on there, kind of forcing it, I managed to get it lined up on the wall perfect. At least on this side anyway. So, yay. That's a yay moment. That's worthy of a yay. And actually this side too. Perfect. Yay. Even more yay. More yay. That's a happy little accident there. Okay. And this is where, you know, that unfortunate thing when you look at these cockpits, because of the curvature, how they curve up like this, right? They go like this, and then it hides all the detail when you go to try and look inside to see all that nice work you did on your cockpit, and then yeah, suddenly it's kind of disappeared in there. It's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay, so that is together, which means we can move on to another part here. We're going to do our work on our fuselage assembly. So this section here, we're going to work on this stuff. So looks like all the parts off of our A tree, A's 5, 6, 7, and 10. So let's grab these. Here's 5, 6, 7, and 10, just like that. Get these all off of here. Okay, so you might be wondering, oh, we're going to need A16 also, so I might as well get that off of here. Where's A16? This little guy right here. Alright. Okay, and he's got a funny little nub on him that we don't need to have. Just like that. And he can be put aside because we don't need him right now. What I do need to do is make sure my nubs are all cleaned up. Now you see, I didn't know which side this was going to be visible, so I've painted this side, but I didn't paint this side. That may have been a mistake, and actually I don't even know if this is going to be visible at all at the end of the day, so what is going to be visible in this and what isn't, I really don't know. Like even these parts, they wanted me to paint these silver in here, but I don't even know if this is going to be visible once everything's all together, because it seems to be inside here. And well, you don't even have any engine detail on the inside of the fuselage, so I don't know why am I even bothering with this? Okay, so this guy's like that. These two go together like this, just like that. That's simple enough. Okay. So those two go together. This guy goes like this, but he goes on the front of this. They've got a little kind of a carved outline here and here for the shape of this and how it's supposed to go like this. Okay, so if we're going by this picture, it should be in this orientation. I've got to clean up my nubs here, I think. Okay. So then this guy goes like this. Just like that. Okay, there we go. So there's that. And then we're going to put it all together in this. So I guess it's some kind of I guess it's the intake for the maybe cockpit cooling. Okay, so this little triangular section here is supposed to line up with this triangular section, while these two slots go into these two little holes. those lined up, get this lined up, just like that. And now I can see why they wanted that painted green in there too. But again, is that really going to be visible inside the fuselage? Let me just grab this here and see how this is supposed to go in. This is supposed to go in this direction and line up these buttons here with this and sliding in there like so. Let's just drop it, shall we? Like that. Okay, so it might be a little bit visible on the front cowling, and maybe through here you might see something, although I think that's probably going to get covered up, so probably not. Just in here. So I should paint it. I should paint this piece. So I'm going to quickly fire up my air compressor and get that painted. My zinc chromate. So I did not prepare to do any airbrushing, so which means I don't have my camera set up. But painting just this one little piece, not going to take very long at all. In fact, I'm going to be really adventurous, and I'm not going to even thin the paint. I am, however, going to mask this off because I went to the trouble of painting these silver. I don't want to get an overspray on them. So I'm going to do this. Just do this. And get a rough estimate of the curvature. Kind of get that in there. There we go. That's good enough. Get this other one. That was a pretty good guess on the curve. Sure. Put that here. Not bad at all. I just want to prevent any overspray. That's really all I need. That's all I'm doing. It's the only purpose of this. Okay. Make sure this is shaping up good. This stuff is pretty thick, straight out of the bottle. I did add a little bit of thinner to it, just to thin it up and make it a little bit more nicer. Just a little nicer. Take that off. Okay. Alright, just a little bit in my cup, that's all I need. And yeah, okay. Let's just give her a little spray here. See, all over it. Nice and green now. Okay, that's good enough. That's all I need. Get off of me. There we go. Okay. Back in you go. Okay. Close this up so I don't spill anywhere I don't want. And I'll grab some thinner. I'm not going to do a full clean on my airbrush right now. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. But I am going to just kind of thin this out so the paint doesn't dry completely in the cup. So I definitely don't want that. So Mr. Hobby paints, they do dry pretty quick. They don't dry quite as fast as Tamiya paints, but they do dry quick. And so if you leave it in your brush, it is going to dry, plug up your brush, and you don't want that. So just make sure, the whole point is to make sure it doesn't dry up. So I'm going to just leave thinner in there and we'll continue on. And then I'll do a proper cleaning on that later. Okay, now in doing all that, this should be dry, at least to the touch, good enough. And we can put our parts together. Okay, so I'm going to put a little glue along here. So, put our two together. So, now I did notice this is a little bit tight and doesn't really want to fit. So I'm going to see if I can get a little clamp on there or something, just to help it stay tight. Actually, I think it might be okay. Might be all right. And I'll take some of my thin and get in here with these. There we go. Okay, we're together. So let that sit. Go back to this. Now, our two fuselage halves, they're going to go together. So let's just do a test fit on these guys to see how they're going to fit together. This is where I've got to clean up my nubs and stuff like that to get these to fit nice and tight. Got a little bit of a gap problem here at the bottom. You can see that difference. But that's not anything that's really going to be too hard. I can squeeze them together and they'll go together nice. And then, yeah, nub marks to clean there. So I'm going to start with my razor file and see how we can get rid of these nubs. A little bit like that. That's nice. Just feeling along the edge for where a nub may have been left when I took it off the sprue. That's not a nub, that's a, I think that's supposed to be a marker light. I'll say it again, I know I say it all the time, the razor file is a game changer for me. I bought it to use on Gundam builds, but it works great for this stuff too. It's not restricted to Gundams because it just takes it right down smooth. You don't have to worry about. I have a tendency sometimes when I'm using a knife to carve too aggressively at the nub, and sometimes I'll actually create a divot with it. The razor file eliminates that possibility. It just gets it down smooth, and you don't have to worry. Of course, if you do press too hard, you can create kind of scratches in the plastic. So if you just go lightly, you'll be happy with it. Some people say the razor file is nothing more than just a nail polishing tool, and you can buy one much cheaper in a cosmetics part of the store. Whatever. If you can find one that does the exact same job in the cosmetics section of a store, then, well, that's good for you. Okay, so we are ready to assemble. Avengers assemble. Okay, so this guy goes back in here like this. Line him up like that, and he literally sits. It's got the two little grooves here to guide this part into the spot it needs to go. Just like this, there's really no play or movement or anything, so I'm just going to glue it like that. So it should be fine as far as alignment and all that good stuff. Alright, just like that. Now let's see how our cockpit's going to do. So our cockpit's all done, all glued together nicely, and we'll see how this is supposed to line up. So we've got our tabs here are supposed to line up with these tabs here, and then the front is supposed to line up, it looks like, here. So that means in theory it's going to go right here. I don't really have tabs on the front. Oh, okay. So we've got a gap here, like a slot, and that's where this is supposed to slot into. Okay, so that's kind of neat. This just kind of looks like it just tucks underneath here, but the front needs to slide in to that slot like that, which means the rear doesn't have much. Let's flip her upside down so you can see. You slide that in. That just sits like this, and that's it. We got quite a... Oh, there we go. We're seated in. Okay, so let's just do a test fit before committing to glue. Okay. Let's get our tail lined up here. Get our nose lined up. She's gonna work. She's gonna work, guys. Yeah, it's a little bit tight, but looks like it's going to work. Okay, let's get some strips of tape ready, because I'm going to be holding it with tape. I think 4 ought to do it. Okay. this is done, so that's perfect. So we're going to put glue here. Just like that. Alright. What's funny is the two tail halves, you can't even see the seam between them there. So, tape right across here. There we go. Okay, now I can continue with the tail. So the tail's glued, and I'll just put a little clip on there just to help that. Now, one thing I actually should have looked at is in the tail we're supposed to put, if we're using clear parts for the tail light. I'm not concerned about using clear parts for the tail light. No big deal. And that was the only warning thing about putting the two halves of the tail together. Of course, maybe that's something I should have looked at before I put these together and added glue. Hindsight being what it is. But that's okay. Okay, I do want to put a little bit of pressure on this, so maybe I'll use this clip right here. No, that's not going to work. How about one of these? Always got to pick and choose which clips are going to work. That should work. Okay. Now, got our gap here. This is where it's going to be tight. I want to hold this one. Got a bit of a tight gap there, but if I just hold that, it should be fine. In the meantime, glue here and glue here for our cockpit to sit in, and I can get in up top here and glue it there too. And that's nice. Now I want to have this squeezed together a little bit. I might be able to get away with taping this here. Holding it now. That should hold it good enough. Here, however, I need to squeeze just a little bit. We got a little bit of a gap right there. We can just eliminate that with a little bit of pressure. Let me grab another piece of tape, a little bit longer, and put it here. Squeeze these together tight. Of course, in doing that, it separates the front. That's okay though. Glue here. Now I'm going to have to put tape across here. But let's make sure everything's aligned first. We're doing good. We're doing good with our alignment. Let's do the top here. Top is nicely aligned. Looks like I had a little bit of glue on my thumb and I didn't realize it. Glue actually ran down here, that's why. Okay, another piece of tape, we're going to go right across the front. This. And then our final part is the bottom here. Bottom is where there's a really want to go together. This is where it's tight. Here, tight here. I gotta squeeze quite a bit to get that to line up. But it's not the end of the world. A little bit of a gap and then put it together. Go another run. There we go. I kind of want to go across here like this. And maybe across here. Just to help keep that closed, and by doing so we have closed our gap here and here. I need to reapply glue on this side and put some here. There we go. This has come loose a little bit, so let's just redo this. There we go. Redo that. That. And get in there. All right. Our two fuselage halves are glued together, guys. There isn't really much I can glue as far as here. I do have a bit of a gap here, which it will not close. Actually, I guess it's connected here, but as I get to here, I can put my finger in that crack for a fingernail, but it's not bad. So we don't have a perfect alignment. We've got a little bit of a lip here. We're pretty good back here. It's all those little things that need to be done. But it's looking pretty good. Okay. That's pretty good. So, set that aside for now. And that finishes off this page. Okay? This page is done. Page 1 done. So let's flip our page over and see what's next. I missed a piece. This piece right here. This guy. This guy's got to go at the top of the front there, top of the nose. Let's clean this up. He goes into this little slot right here. Let's see if I can put him in there. I'm going to have to remove the tape. I should have put him in first. That was a mistake I made, because now I got to separate these two pieces in order for it to fit. Or, yes, thank you, Lord. Okay, so he's in there. Let's add some glue, and just in case anything got separated. Make sure he's flush. Okay, there he is. I don't really need this piece on there. I'll just do this. Okay, so he's in there now, in his home. So now let's flip the page. Okay, we've got our exhaust ports off of our D tree. That's these guys. So we can get these off of the sprues and we can put these in. One. Two. Okay. Let's clean these up quickly here. Actually, I'm really surprised how clean this actually came out. Okay. This one needs some work. These are obviously lefts and rights. This, by the way they are shaped, it's pretty obvious how they go. Okay, so again, remove my tape. Okay, and let's see how they go. You can kind of get an idea of which one goes where, even if you do forget. They should fit only one way. This one looks like he fits just like that. Fits nice and flush. That is really nice looking. But just as a test, does this one fit also? Well, look at that, it does. But one way you can tell, if you're like me and you didn't even pay attention to which is which, you can see in the diagram there's a little something right here in the bottom corner of that, and that happens to be right here on this one. So that means this one goes here. Okay, let's get him in there, just like that. Okay. Just like that. Okay, so that's that one. Flip them over. Very nice, perfect flush fit. That is, I gotta say, that's to me a quality fit right there. Every now and then, Hasegawa just surprises you and does something like this, and it's like, wow. You're not even going to be able to tell that that is a separate piece. When this is all painted, you're never going to tell, and I don't have to do any work on it at all. That looks really fantastic. Okay, M3 and M4 go into these two spots here, so I got to find my M tree. I think that's this one. Yes, M3 and 4. I will pay attention this time. M3. M4. And that's it for this sprue. Once again, just make sure this is cleaned up nice and smooth. There's 3. And 4. So, we got at number 3. It's going to go like this. I didn't clean them up enough. Definitely didn't clean it up enough. Okay. Still didn't clean it up. What's wrong with me here? tight fit, but it fit flush. Once it's in there, it's in there. Now this one does stick out just a hair. It's like the curvature doesn't match quite perfectly. It's not the end of the world, but if you really do want it to give the illusion that it's, you know, a proper piece, you want it to be flush. You don't want a corner sticking out proud or something like that. But that's pretty good. Not bad, not bad. Okay, other side. We'll get the other side done, and then I think we're going to call it a day. We're pretty close to it. Let's get this one in there. Every time I go to put it in, that's when I realize my nub is still sticking up and visible on this edge. There we go. It is a very, very tight fit. Okay, we're going to give it that. We'll give Hasegawa that. They've got it a tight fit. But it's not the sides that the nubs are on that gives it the tight fit. It's the front and rear sides that are tight. You might be wondering why I'm pressing with the flat edge of my tweezers and not with my finger. It's because if the glue's sticking out, if there's glue on that edge and I press with my finger, guess what? I'm going to be putting my own fingerprint on the thing, and I definitely don't want that. So yeah, there's that. Although it is a lot easier to gauge how much pressure I'm using by using my finger, but anyway, we got that. That is good. That's nice and flush. We kind of feel it up here on this top edge, but barely, just barely. And since this plane's not a P-51 or anything, that's not going to be painted silver, so. Okay, we'll do one last piece. We're going to do A35 on the front here. What just happened? I don't know why that just shut off like that. It's not supposed to. Anyway, A35. Where's my A tree? A35. Right here. We'll put this one on, and then I'll get going. We'll call it a day. Okay. Let's clean up our little edge here. Okay, that's it. We got this little nub right there, and that's it. Okay, so that means we can remove our tape here from the bottom, from the chin. And he's going to go in. Pick him up. He's going to go in right there. Just like that. Okay, so I'll hold it like this and get some glue in there. Across there and on that tab. This side. down here, flip over. Okay, and that's that. Does he hold? He's holding, yay. Okay, I am just going to hold this for a moment here. Okay, we'll just let that sit. I'm going to hold on to this just for a minute just to make sure that's going to hold. And that's where we're going to end it for today, guys. I still have a couple of panels to put here, but we'll do that all next time, okay? We're going to let this sit. I'm going to do a lot of little body work, I'm going to do a lot of body work on this and get it ready to go. And so basically prepare for next time. And yeah, so it's coming together nicely. I'm actually quite surprised, pleasantly surprised at how well the two halves of the fuselage fit together. It's very nice. There's not really much I'm going to have to do. A little bit, but because of the camouflage color scheme we're going to be doing on this, it's not going to be that noticeable. So even any little lips or imperfections, not really going to be noticeable with the camouflage color, right? So yeah, it's not bad. I don't really have anything to complain about right now. It's coming together really nice. So that being said, I would really appreciate it if you guys left a comment down below. Let me know what you think, and maybe hit the like button too. That'd be pretty cool. And even better is if you hit that subscribe button. You can check out the links in the description box below there. You can check out my Instagram and my Twitch, and you can follow me on Twitch, and you can watch me live if you feel like, and do comments and talk to me while I'm actually building this, if you so choose. But that is where I'm going to end it for today, and I want to thank you guys for watching, and thanks for coming out, and we'll see you all in the next one.